What's going on, guys? There is a new Thrawn book coming out in the summer of 2018, which is tentatively going to be called Thrawn Alliances. We don't have a cover to show you yet because it is not finalized, but Timothy Zahn is at it again. At New York Comic Con, they basically revealed this as well as a bunch of other books, but this is definitely the most anticipated one and the most exciting one as far as I'm concerned. This is going to be awesome. It's definitely a tough one because it's kind of like a where do you go from here situation. The Thrawn book that came out already and some possible spoilers here. I'm going to talk a little bit about the previous Thrawn book in terms of speculation on where this one could go. So if you haven't finished the Thrawn book yet, I'm going to warn you now, you may want to turn back. Or if you don't mind, I'm not going to get into too much spoilers, but I'm going to talk a little bit about this, so there might be some spoilers. So it's interesting to think about where this new book could go and what time frame. One report says that this book finishes up where the last book left off, which I'm not so certain that that's accurate because that other book took us basically all the way up until Rebels. So what seems more likely to me is that this book might pick up where Star Wars Rebels Season 4 leaves off. Because if it's going to come out in the summer of 2018, I believe Rebels will finish up right before this book comes out. And that would be a perfect time for them to come out with a new Thrawn story, depending on what Thrawn, what I'm thinking is this is basically how Thrawn is going to, almost a soft confirmation that he's going to survive Rebels Season 4. If there's going to be a new book that details his story. Now, here's what we do know. This book is going to feature Darth Vader. So Darth Vader is going to be in it, and Thrawn is supposed to venture off into unknown space on some secret mission. Now, this part really got me excited because this goes along with what I've been predicting all along. I've always predicted that Thrawn gets sent out into the unknown regions on some type of task, basically just to get him away before they use the Death Star. If that's the case, that would sync up perfectly with what they're saying for this book. It would sync up with my predictions because if Rebels Season 4, as far as we know, is going to end right before the Battle of Scarif. And if that's the case, or maybe right around the Battle of Scarif, but before the Death Star destroys its first planet. I think the Emperor would want to have gotten Thrawn out of the area before that happens, so this way he doesn't retaliate, because he would not be a fan of them blowing up entire planets. So if that's the case, then that would be ideal. If this book does pick up right where Thrawn left off, then it doesn't make sense because that, like I said, that led almost directly into Rebels. Unless it's just a very, very short story, like a 2 weeks or a 1 week story that is, just the week in between Thrawn and Rebels Season 3 where Thrawn first shows up, then sure. But I don't know. I have a feeling if he's going to go off into unknown space on a secret mission, it seems like it's setting the groundwork for him to kind of leave the Empire and explain why he's not around in Season 4. And the other thing, too, is that if let's just say, hypothetically, that Thrawn were to perish in Rebels Season 4, which would, in my opinion, by the way, would be a terrible, terrible thing. Like, you don't throw away one of your best characters. Then that would just be terrible because then that means that, are you really going to care that much about this book? Because it had been said earlier that Timothy Zahn wanted to make 3 new Thrawn books or a new trilogy. And you can't write a trilogy that all takes place in a week, I'm not saying it's exactly a week, but where Thrawn leaves off and where Rebels starts are almost back to back. So it's not enough room for you to write. In my opinion, it's not enough room for a whole book, and definitely not enough room for a trilogy. But if he survives Season 4 and he goes off into the unknown regions, well, that's the perfect launching point, a perfect springboard into a whole new scene, a whole new theme, a whole new setting for a new story and a new chapter of Star Wars. Maybe he'll find another world that's important, a couple of new races that are important and that are going to be featured in whatever comes after Rebels. Maybe Ezra and Sabine will follow him out there, or maybe he'll be going out there to follow them, to track them down, track down the rogue Jedi. Maybe that's why Darth Vader goes with him. You know, all we really know right now is that Thrawn goes on a secret mission into the unknown space, and apparently Darth Vader goes with him. So that sounds awesome. I'm excited. I'm excited about it. At least Darth Vader's involved. I don't know if he goes on the entire mission with him, because if he goes out on the entire mission with him, then how is he around for, you know, A New Hope, so or Rogue One? So I don't know if he's going to be going on the entire mission with him, or maybe it takes place. Maybe there's some time. Maybe like Rogue One starts like a month after Rebels Season 4 ends, because we don't really know where Rebels Season 4 is going to end. So there's a whole lot of speculation here. But there's also reports that he goes off with his sidekick, and I'm trying to think. And here's where we get into some of the spoilers too, is that which sidekick are they talking about? I don't know if it's been made clear, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be Eli Vanto, unless, of course, he stops off and picks him up, because they kind of parted ways at the end of Thrawn. I'm not going to get too spoilery into there. You definitely need to read the book if you haven't already. But I could see a potential reuniting between Thrawn and Eli Vanto, and I think that would actually be really cool to see how Eli's character has progressed over the time since we last saw him. So that much, and there's definitely a lot of room for progression there, because he was still a little on the naive side and still had a lot of growing and learning to do at the end of Thrawn. So it's there's definitely a lot of hype. I'm very, very, very excited about this book. I will be getting it right away and trying to get through it as fast as possible when it does come out. And the good thing is, it's already done. Timothy Zahn finished writing it. He's like about 2 weeks ago. So it's just got to get published and all the whatever all the steps are. But it looks like it'll be coming out in the summer of 2018, which really is not that far away. That's less than a year, folks. And we're going to have a new Thrawn story. And I'm also willing to bet that a lot of it hinges upon what happens in Rebels, and so they can't just go ahead and tell you, or they can't just release the book early, because it would probably spoil the ending of Rebels. You know. So anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. We still have that Episode 8 trailer coming out later today, and yeah, but let me know if you what you thought of the Thrawn book, and if you're going to post any spoilers, make sure you use spoiler tags down below, so we don't want to ruin it for anybody else. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.